Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk box office numbers. We're going to talk Invisible Man, just the general kind of box office takings that have happened with Invisible Man and the other movies that were out. But we're also going to talk Invisible Man and kind of why it's done so well, because there's a lot of articles that have been released since its opening weekend. Normally happens, obviously it's marketing, so of course this is bound to happen. But some of this stuff is really interesting. Now, I reviewed this film. I'll leave it linked above. I really enjoyed Invisible Man. And it's a shame because I think some people, when I reviewed it, some of the comments coming through were, I'm not going to go and watch this because people have been saying it's like the ultimate Me Too film and all of this kind of stuff. And they don't want to watch a movie which, puts guys in an absolute negative light and all this kind of stuff. And it's really important to note, and I'm sure many of you would actually agree with me, is that it's not actually that kind of film. That's not how it's framed. Yes, a man is bad in it, but it's not framed as man bad. It's just framed as this guy's psychotic. Just one guy is psychotic, and it's not the narrative at play. So for those that have those kind of aspersions to it, please go watch it. I actually think you'll enjoy it, and there'll be plenty of people that will back me up in the comments about that. But let's take a look at it. I mean, obviously it. As it states here, he screams loudly with 29 million US and has 49 million globally. That's insane. That's a fantastic taking for a movie which realistically wouldn't have cost that much to make. So Blumhouse and Universal, they're quids in here. This is the kind of film that The Mummy should have been. The Mummy with Tom Cruise, which was supposedly to kickstart, the second time it was supposed to kickstart the Dark Universe. Which, hilariously enough, Universal didn't have any of that nonsense in front of this movie. It's not part of this Dark Universe stuff. There is no Dark Universe, kind of branding or anything like that. It just looks like they wanted to make a good horror movie. And they did. They succeeded. And I was wrong about this. I'm the first man to be like, yeah, no, I was wrong, for sure. Now, obviously, it says, in a major boost for the horror genre, Universal and Blumhouse's The Invisible Man scared up a stellar 29 million in its North American box office debut and 20.2 million overseas for a 49.2 million global start over the weekend. Really good. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, it quotes Rotten Tomatoes here. Please stop validating Rotten Tomatoes. This didn't need to be part of this article at all. The Invisible Man had the best domestic opening for a horror pick since the last September's It Chapter 2, and one of the best ever for Jason Blum's prolific production company, which has been going massively downhill recently. So good to see that they're finally getting a grasp on some better horror films, because they've been producing some utter tripe. But anyway, here's the budget, 7 million. To produce before marketing, and you could probably give another marketing was everywhere for this, so I would probably say you're looking at maybe 10 to 15 million for marketing, definitely more than its production budget, without shadow of a doubt, because it was everywhere. They made 2 trailers, I believe, for this film, and then they ramped up marketing, but the trailers weren't everywhere, but it had a substantial marketing budget, so I would say between 10 to 15 million or so, but it's made back its money. It's in profit already. So there you go. It's doing good. Very, very good things already. And that's in its first week. So this is a success, without shadow of a doubt. Now, obviously, it says that, this is a win for Universal's retooled Monster Universe. I don't think there is a Monster Universe. This is the Hollywood Reporter. They really should know better. They've put this thing on ice many, many times now. It's pretty much done. So I'm not really sure why they keep trying to claim that this is even a thing. Now, I think one of the most important parts of all of this, it goes on to say, the latest adaptation of classic H.G. Wells' novel, written and directed by Leigh Whannell, who it stars and things like that. Now, it says that while horror movies traditionally skew females, the audience for The Invisible Man was 53% male, and the film is playing in 3,620 cinemas in North America. And it would have been in pretty much every theatre in the UK as well. There was a lot of showings for it when I went to see it. Now, many horror picks have struggled domestically over the past several years. Domestic is just in the States. But The Invisible Man bucks that trend. The movie has already earned more domestically than Blumhouse and Sony's Fantasy Island, which looks like trash. Not a surprise. Why would that have done particularly well? Seriously? Come on. This is the thing. People are like, oh, it's the horror genre. No, it's not. It's just bad movies. That's all it is. This looked like a good movie, relatively so. They did spoil a whole bunch of stuff in the trailer, and a lot of people, including myself, thought it was potentially a wasted opportunity. But then when you watch it, you go, yeah, this is actually a decent movie. And then it starts to snowball from there. Fantasy Island looked like trash, looked very generic from the trailers, and then you watch it, and then it's trash. So why would anyone go and watch it further? It's not a surprise. It baffles me why we're consistently saying, well, it's the horror genre. No, it's not. It's not, because the horror genre has consistently done very, very well when there have been good movies. Obviously, there are good movies which don't earn money. Of course, there are outliers to this scenario, but for the most part, bad movies don't earn particularly good money. Now, obviously, it continues and just says how what that earned. Which was not particularly good, and then Brahms the Boy, which didn't look particularly great either, and that struggled, earning a total of 9.8 million in its first 10 days. So yeah, not particularly great. The genre also faces different challenges internationally, in that horror films often fail to scare up significant business. Whannell's Invisible Man turned in a solid start in its first set of markets, including the UK, which had 2.9 million, France 2.2 million, and Mexico 1.8 million. In Asia, it placed number 1, and in South Korea with 1.1 million, despite a significant downturn at the box office because of the good old Corona V. Now, obviously, it goes on to say how Paramount Sonic the Hedgehog is still doing particularly great, which is fantastic. I mean, it now actually has a global total of 265.4 million. There will be a sequel to this film. They will want to absolutely smash this out of the park. So, kudos to Sonic the Hedgehog. Call of the Wild, 47%. It dropped down, so now it's only had 45.9 million. So not a huge total. It's not been particularly successful. I doubt it's going to make, it's lost money currently because the budget was 150 million. So yeah, it's going to be massively in the red. Now, Invisible Man was the weekend's sole new release from a Hollywood studio. It wasn't the only fresh offering. The anime pick My Hero Academia, Hero Rising. I saw that. I didn't see it, but I saw it advertised. Potentially was interested in seeing that. Now that's about it really. It says Sony's breakout Bad Boys for Life achieved another milestone, across 400 million globally. Epic, absolutely great. And then we had some other bits and pieces about the Impractical Jokers and all of that. But we go back to Invisible Man and why it's done so well. Now, Leigh Whannell has been absolutely snapped up now. Invisible Man filmmaker Leigh Whannell inks overall deal with Blumhouse. There you go. Great. I think this is fantastic. This is so good. I hope you've stayed this long. But this is really, really good. This is interesting for a few reasons. The 2-year first look pack covers film and TV projects written, directed or produced by the filmmaker. That's really big news for Leigh Whannell. Really, really big news. Leigh Whannell and Blumhouse successfully resuscitated Universal's monsters with this weekend's Invisible Man. Now, the filmmaker and Blumhouse are solidifying their long-standing relationship. Whannell, known for the Saw and Insidious franchises, has inked a 2-year overall deal with Blumhouse for film and television. The first look pack will include projects he writes, directs or produces, and the filmmaker and Blumhouse have collaborated on 7 projects to date, with The Invisible Man off to a strong start that could see it earn 26 million over its opening weekend. Well, we know the totals of that anyway. But what does this mean? I mean, Whannell broke into the horror scene, co-writing and starring in Saw. He didn't, kind of barely starred in it. And then he's gone on to do other bits and pieces as well. So he created with James Wan that spawned, sprawling franchises for Lionsgate. Whannell and Wan struck horror gold with the Insidious franchise, which was, Blumhouse. Now, this is a statement from Jason Blum. Leigh creates movies which not only build franchises, but fundamentally change the landscape of their genre. Now, this is good news and bad news. Please don't make Leigh Whannell just a franchise prostitute. We're very much sick of seeing filmmakers just chug out franchises non-stop. This is unfortunately what Blumhouse does. So hopefully they're not going to do this with Leigh Whannell, because Blumhouse consistently just goes, right, cool, this one's made money, fuck it, let's roll like 6 of them out now. Whoa, mate, stop. Some movies are good one and done. So let's hope they don't do this with Leigh Whannell. So like I said, good news and bad news, but it's off the back end of Invisible Man's success. Obviously, this would be long gestating, but it's been solidified due to Invisible Man's success. Now, he says, after he and James Wan made Saw, it launched dozens of copycats. They worked with Blumhouse on Insidious, founded not just a franchise, but dozens of classical proscenium. PG-13 supernatural horror films. I've no doubt that it'll be true for The Invisible Man. Please don't do this for The Invisible Man. It's a good movie. Leave it. Done. I've no doubt. Blah, blah, blah. Now, it says, I just want there to be with him. I just want to be there with him when he does. So, it's good news and bad news. Obviously, we've got a statement from Leigh Whannell here. It says, 10 years ago, I walked into Jason Blum's office thinking that I was having a general meeting with a producer who liked horror movies. Little did I know that a decade-long partnership and friendship was about to begin. I have since watched his then infant company, Blumhouse, grow into a powerhouse of genre films. A nurturing place that is willing to take risks on people. Indeed, they have taken plenty of risks on me, and I look forward to taking many more. Unfortunately, this is good news and bad news. Like I say, Blumhouse have been producing utter shite. So, let's hope they don't just go, Leigh Whannell, make a franchise. Let's make 10 of them. Let's go, go, go. Okay, because Blumhouse is now associated with Universal for these monster movies. They've got this pact going on. But Leigh Whannell has made some comments about wanting to make, I think it was a Dracula movie or something like that, if off the top of my head. So, yeah, do that. Go ahead, do that. But don't make another... Let's not just keep going with Invisible Man crap. You know, this one worked, and it's a great movie. Don't keep making them. Okay? Some are best left done. Alright? Some are not franchise sperm. You know, it's not just going to keep reproducing. Alright? Or franchise fertilizer. Now, we also do have some interesting comments here. And it says, why the Invisible Man director Leigh Whannell defied test screening notes. So again, another reason as to why he was successful with this film. It says, after the beginning, the new millennium as an actor, screenwriter and creative partner of James Wan, Leigh Whannell, blah, 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 blah. Now, the bulk of this article, it says here, we did get that note along the way in test screenings. One thing we would hear was, well, I need to see more. This was an interview with a Hollywood Reporter. There almost seemed to be this need for, or a request for that scene of, let's spend 5 minutes with them before she escapes. And I just didn't want to write that scene where it's like, you call these dishes clean. I'm never going to be able to write a scene that will make Adrian as scary as the audience can make him. In my mind, I hope that Cecilia's reaction and the way she was acting told you everything you needed to know. And that's the thing, right? Because a lot of people were saying, despite notes from executives and test screenings saying otherwise, it was important for Whannell to trust his instincts by foregoing a cliched scene that illustrated the domestic violence inflicted upon Cecilia. We didn't need to see it. It would have been gratuitous. As he rightly says, is that fear is what the mind creates. And he's not a scary character per se, but the Adrian character and the dynamic between them is all in the viewer's mind. You know, there's, because we don't really see them interact with one another, but we see the fear from Cecilia. So he was right to do this, and again, it's another reason as to why the film was a success. So I thought this would be interesting to just kind of throw in there. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know down below in the comments. If you've seen Invisible Man, what did you think? If you did it off the back end of my recommendation, did you like the recommendation? Let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thanks so much. Take care.